Yo, what's going on, guys? Turner here, and welcome back to another video. And today, well, as it says in here, I'm just driving around and chatting. But I'm gonna actually throw in a little twist. We're not gonna use any of the cars that we have seen in any previous videos. Instead, I'm going to actually choose a car that I don't think has been in a video yet. You know what? Never mind. We're going to use whatever car. I don't care at this point. We're going to use one even if it's been in a previous video. Currently, as you can see, I'm in Kit. Yes, I removed the Super Pursuit mode stuff off of him since the last time you've seen him, if I didn't remove it all
Welcome back,
before
Bandit.
the ending. But, I'm going to change my, character name. Unfortunately, my actual name is one I have to use because T-Byrd apparently is not real in this. Alright, we got Kit. And actually, I don't feel like driving this car right now because, I mean, yeah, it's a cool car and all. It's fast, but Kit gets driven by me a lot. I don't know if I've actually shared about this one, but here's one that I recently bought not that long ago. And my, is this car fun to drive. As you can see, this is actually based off of Adam LZ's real life drift car that he uses. And I believe he uses this in FD as well as his Sylvia S14. Or my bad, S15. Unfortunately, I'm on controller, so I have a hard time controlling these cars. Okay, you know what? I know a car that would be a lot easier to handle when drifting, and I know for a fact this one may have been on video before. So I don't know for a fact. This one, I don't know if it's been in a video for us, but here we go. Oh, of course, you're going to run into me head on. Now, this is what I call a drift car. I have to keep it in a higher gear in order to keep from sliding out of control. For those of you who don't know, I've actually been a Cletus McFarlane fan for quite some time. So actually being able to have this in Forza, definitely a good milestone. A car meant specifically for drifting and burnouts. The coolest Crown Victoria I've ever seen on the internet. A 5.0 liter Mustang swapped. First ever Crown Victoria to have actually hit the scene with a 6-speed manual transmission. Which I really thought that was actually a really cool touch that Cletus did there. actually, I've actually been thinking of some stuff that might actually sound pretty cool on here. I don't really know, but a video that my brother made last night, actually, or not really last night, but that he uploaded, I think it was a couple days ago. But it's cool. His channel's called High Tales, if y'all ever decide to go check that out. He's only got one episode up right now, but he's currently in the works of an episode 2. So, like I said, if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. He's cool. His video had me rolling around on my futon here laughing last night like crazy. But me and him, we've got stories from our teenage years, all kinds of stuff, and most of the stories I've got with him took place on my channel here, but y'all don't really know what went on behind the scenes. So one story I have is actually the story of the very first time I had ever gotten drunk. And this is actually involving him because it was his idea. And so here goes nothing. So I was going over to just hang out, spend the night, play video games, whatever. And whenever I get there, he greets me at the door with a bottle, a big half-gallon sized bottle that's still full, mind you, of New Amsterdam green apple vodka. I was maybe 16 around the time. It was before I even had my learner's permit. Alright, and I drove myself in that silver truck I used to have way back then. I say way back, but it really ain't that far back. I mean, I'm only 23 now, but it feels like forever ago. And so he's like, dude, you gotta try this. It's not the best in the world, but it's alright. It gets the job done. I'm like, okay, why not? Screw it. Well, so me and him are going shot for shot, and then we invite one of our other friends over, and then Jesse gets our older brother Justin into the group and all that, and Justin's the one that bought it. But Justin's girl at the time didn't like it. So we said, screw it, why not? And Justin's like, okay, why not? It's just me, my little brothers. Even though I'm not technically actually related, but still, Justin considered me a little brother because of the fact that me and Jess acted like little brothers anyways. So it's whatever. And so Justin, me, Jesse are all going at it, and then one of our friends, J-Mac, who y'all know from some of my older videos as well on GTA, he came over, and so what we started doing is playing Need for Speed Underground 2, and the goal of it was whoever got the lowest points while drifting on a specific mountain pass. I can't remember the track we used, but whoever got the lowest points had to take a full-fledged double shot, which that's the only shot glass we had, was a double shot glass. So we had to take a double shot if we lost. Needless to say, I was the one having to take the most shots because I was the one losing. So my brother, in order to make me feel better about myself, he's just over there, he's just shooting them back for fun. My older brother, Justin, he's just shooting them back for fun at that point. And we're all just in there laughing, having a good time, playing video games. I'm completely plastered at this point. And because, you know, I hadn't drank before, lightweight. I was gonna be donezo way before we even got started. And so next thing you know, I'm just laying over on the weight bench because at the time Jesse had a bench press set in his room. So I'm literally over on the weight bench laughing for no reason And him and our older brother are laughing at me because I'm laughing, which is making me laugh even harder because laughter is contagious with me. I'll put it this way: if I do something stupid and someone starts laughing at me, I'm gonna laugh along with them, right back at my own stupidity, because that's just how I roll. I'm gonna laugh at you laughing at me. But pretty much, Jesse and I then kind of got into a light argument. I took the plastic magazine out of my airsoft gun that I had, and I chunked it at him, you know, being a little stupid-ass drunk menace. And, you know, Jesse gets knocked back from it because he was surprised that I even threw with that accuracy, because it caught him in the temple. He was surprised I threw with that kind of accuracy. He stumbled back into the table that was behind him that also held said shot glass, and he shattered it. Well, he made me clean up the mess. Okay, cool. The mess I made, I'm gonna clean it up. And he proceeded to smack me in the back of the head, which, of course, me being drunk, I didn't recognize the actual pain, so I just laughed. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole story of the first time I got drunk. And it ended quite funnily, at least in my opinion, it ended quite funny. I mean, literally, my pain receptors are turned off, so I get smacked in the back of the head, and I bust out laughing from it. That's pretty much it. And, so yeah, that's my story of underage drinking, told now that I'm 23 and legal. So, there you go. And, that's pretty much how it goes on that note. Now for the story of the first time that my brother got me high. Now this one's a little bit different story. There's no violence, none of that. Because of the fact that here's what he discovered about me having severe ADHD and being high. And that is that when it comes to the effects of it, it calms me down. So, with that being said, let's get right on into this. I go over to his house, I'm staying the night. Me, him, and his mom are sitting at the kitchen table, and them two are passing back and forth a little pipe that looked to be homemade. I couldn't really tell you if it was homemade or store-bought, but either way, it was a tobacco pipe. Looked to be homemade. I'm pretty sure it was. And I just see them passing it back and forth. They're laughing, they're giggling about, and Jess just looks at me, and then he looks back to his mom, and I look back at both of them, and she just looks at me. Now, keep in mind, I call her, I've called her mom since me and Jesse have known each other. Because, like I said, me and him be like just instant click. It was just like we were meant to be brothers. But instead, God made us best friends because He knew that our parents would not be able to handle us. Neither set of parents would not be able to handle me and him being a couple menaces to society. So pretty much, he just looks. He goes, "Mom, you think I should try and peer pressure turn her into taking a hit?" And she goes, "The way he's looking back and forth between the two of us, I don't think it's going to take much pressure." And I just looked dead at her and I said, "Pressure? Pass that motherfucker here." Those are my exact words. So, pretty much, just pass this sucker back and forth between the three of us. Next thing you know, Jesse's over there dying laughing. I'm over there dying laughing because he's dying laughing. The next thing I know, I just get sucked into my phone. I'm just sitting there staring at it, scrolling through Facebook and TikTok and all kinds of other random stuff I could think of at the time. Instagram, I I didn't really go through Snapchat that much. I wasn't really big in Snapchat. I had an account. I still have that account. I just don't remember my password or none of that because I quit using Snapchat because people that I don't talk to anymore are on Snapchat and I don't want them bothering me. But either way it goes, I was pretty good and toasted, or I think the term would actually be baked. So let's just say we're all three dying laughing at this point. Jesse looks like a complete idiot, and his mom's taking pictures of him and then showing them to me, making me laugh even harder. At this point, I couldn't even breathe because I was laughing so freaking hard. And so eventually, it goes from we're all laughing to I'm just sitting there in silence, sucked into my phone, scrolling through whatever the heck I'm scrolling through. And my brother's just over there like, my God, I think we just found a way to shut Turner up. And then Mom goes, oh shit, I think we did. Is he okay? And they're just sitting there looking at me. I'm scrolling through my phone. They're both trying to decipher if I'm even human anymore at this point. And it's amazing, I have to say. Being sucked into my phone to the point that I'm not even recognizing what's going on in my outer world. I needed that break from reality. It was awesome. And it was just one of the coolest moments of my life. Now, mind you, this was not the first time I'd ever been high. This was just the first time I'd ever been high with them. And honestly, I would much rather get high with my brother than who I got high with the first time I ever got high. And that's because the first time I got high was actually with my ex-wife's, I guess, is still her stepdad. But either way, at the time, her stepfather was the person who actually kind of got me to take a couple puffs off a joint he had. And it was terrible. I have to say that the stuff he had was absolutely garbage compared to what my brother had. Because what my brother had me feeling like I was walking on a cloud, and the stuff that my ex's stepdad had me feeling like I was gut punched and about to throw up if I didn't eat soon. So I ended up going back inside that evening, the first time I got high, and I then proceeded to demolish the entire pot filled of mashed potatoes. So there's both stories in one. But whenever I was with my brother, though, I did not get the munchies one time. I felt perfectly fine. I felt like I was walking on a cloud. Even though I was sitting still in a chair scrolling through my phone, I felt like I was walking on a cloud. I felt like I was outside of my body. It felt amazing. And so there's that. Now, I'm also going to keep in mind, all this stuff happened years ago. I was maybe, I was 18 the very first time it happened. I was 19 whenever it was me and my brother and his mom. And fast forward to now, I pretty much I have to have weed because it helps me fall asleep at night. Do I have a medical card yet? No. Do I plan on getting one as soon as remotely possible? Yes. And that is why, is because it helps me sleep at night. It calms my ADHD down to where my brain isn't running 90 to nothing and keeping me up all night, all hours of the night. So that way I can get well rested and actually be able to go to work the next morning. Granted, I'm pretty sure in Louisiana it's now legal recreationally, but only if you get like these little, like only if you get like little disposables or whatnot, or get whatever it is that they sell at the gas station. Luckily, disposables, now stores don't really sell them anymore, but you can order them online. So that's pretty much what I get, is what you can order online. They're cheap, easy to use, ready to go. Usually come with a full battery whenever you get them. So, but it gets the job done. It helps me sleep at night. So there's that. Calms my ADHD. If I was to actually use it during the day, I would have to use a thinner dose just so I can stay focused. Or not really thinner dose, but you know what I mean. I wouldn't have to basically take as many rips off of it, just so that way I can stay focused throughout the day and stay on task at work. Because I work at a lube shop doing oil changes, and my boss doesn't care. He says as long as you don't have so much of it that it makes you retarded, it's fine. Just a healthy dose, use it responsibly, all that good stuff. And that's pretty much what I aim to do. I use it responsibly. I don't even use it at work. I use it only at home to go to bed at night whenever I'm getting ready to actually lay it down. Because, like I said, I have severe ADHD, and it keeps me up at night because my brain does not like to shut off. Unfortunately, unlike most guys, I do not have what is known as the nothing box wired into my brain anywhere. I wish I did. It would be nice if I actually had the nothing box, where I can think about absolutely nothing, get extremely tired, and go to sleep. I saw that billboard, or that little smash sign, whatever you want to call it. Extra XP. And there goes neighbor running off-road. I have to say, this car is actually easier to control sideways. This car is actually easier to control than Ghost, which is actually really cool. And if y'all are wondering which car Ghost is, that's the Mustang that was just under the, that was in the same category as this car. Y'all have seen it in a couple previous videos I've made. Couple previous streams I've had. But yeah, it's one of those. Now I'm not going to tell one. Now there is one particular story that I'm going to leave out, and that is because I'm leaving that to my brother to tell in one of his episodes, because it'll sound way funnier coming from him. Me and him are actually collaborating on that story. I'm just helping him remember what happened the night that said story went on, because it's actually his story. It just so happens that I was involved and I remember more about what happened for that than he does. So I'm actually collaborating with him on that. Now 90% of the stories that I'm going to tell on here, if I do decide to start actually telling stories besides what I just told here, he's mostly involved in probably all of them, honestly. By mostly, I mean definitely. He's involved in all of them. And that's because of the fact that most of the fun stuff that has happened in my life was all him involved. But that's because, you know, brothers that couldn't leave each other's side at all, running around being a couple menaces, it's gonna happen. And so that's pretty much what that is me and him being a couple troublemakers throughout our teenage years. Now, I will say this, me and him never actually went out and committed any crimes or anything like that. Mostly because we wanted to stay off the radar. Like, the stuff we did would get us in trouble with our parents, or get us in trouble at school. Growing up, it never got us in trouble with the law. And the reason why is because we stayed well within our limits. Neither one of us wanted to try and outrun the police. So, there's that part. My God, this car is hard to control at 200 miles an hour. How did I run off the road? But I pretty much do have one other story that actually involves the first truck I had. And this story actually comes from before before the two stories I just told you. Well, technically three. Pretty much, Jesse and I were actually wanting to hang out. I did not have my license yet. I didn't even have a learner's permit. I was maybe 15. Living in, where did I live whenever I was 15? I was actually staying in Sterlington. And my truck had been swapped from my dad's name to my grandfather's name. Now, you notice that the paperwork for the truck swapped names. Technically, the ownership of the truck did not, because my dad told me the day he got that truck whenever I was 9 that it was going to be mine, and whenever I get my license, he's going to go get him a Chevrolet, and I'm going to have that. Well, that part didn't really take place. He went and got him a Chevy whenever I was 14. Well, whenever I was 15, staying in Sterlington, we moved in with my papaw, and it was, I want to say, right when we got back from Oklahoma. So I ended up going to Sterlington Middle School, and then my adopted mother, Jesse's mother, actually offered to let us use their mailing address so that way I could go back to Westridge, where me and Jess had met. So going to Westridge, and I'm just like, okay, I don't feel like having to have somebody drive me over to my brother's just so I can get on the bus. So my goofy self, because Papa was going to play music, he took Mama's car. Mama didn't need to ride for the day because they had my mom and dad. Well, they had my mom. My mom had the minivan at the time. My dad had his Colorado, that red one. So, I knew I couldn't get on the interstate, but I knew the back way to my brother's house. So, I grabbed the keys of the truck, and I drove all the way to my brother's house, parked the truck out front, took the keys in, laid them on the table, and I looked at his mom and said, "Hey, Ma, if you need to go anywhere today, my truck's also at your disposal. Just make sure you put a little bit of gas in it, whatever you use." And she's like, "Well, okay." So Jess, he comes out of his room. He's already dressed and everything. We still have like an hour before we have to go out and meet the bus. So me and him go back to the room. We're playing video games, this and that and the other. We missed the bus. Yeah, we missed the bus. So I walk out and I'm like, shoot. Dude, we literally sat in here for an hour playing games. We forgot about the bus. What do we do? He's like, "Well, you brought your truck, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, let's just take it to school." I'm like, okay. I didn't see anything wrong with it, considering they had visitor parking. So I just parked the truck in visitor parking. Well, here's where I got in trouble. Is somebody had walked out and noticed the truck just sitting there in visitor parking, and nobody had moved it for the entire day. The part where I got in trouble is whenever we were walking out of school later on that day, I get spotted by one of the teachers as I'm walking to the truck. Jesse also walked to the truck with me. And the teachers are like, "So that's your truck?" I said, "Yes." And without even missing a beat, they go, "Now, you know you're not supposed to be driving with a license." I said, "I understand that. I live just around the corner. Mom said it was fine." Yes, I lied. Oops. And, the funny part, at least to me it was funny, is whenever the teacher goes, and technically, even if our students were licensed, we don't have any place with permitted parking up here for them to park their vehicles. I said, "I understand, this was just a one-time only deal, blah, blah, blah." And so, next thing I know, she didn't call just my mom. No. She called Jesse's mom too. So not only did I have to hear the ass chewing from my adopted mom, I also had to hear the ass chewing from my own mother as well about taking my truck to school. Mom didn't care if I took it over to my brother's house. She just cared that I took it to school. And either way it went, I was grounded for like a week. So that also meant that if I was to go to my brother's house, that also meant I was not allowed to drive the truck for a week. So I had to get dropped off. So there's that. Now, the plot, pretty much, there's not really anything entertaining in it, but at least to me it was kind of entertaining, and it's a good story to tell considering I was 15 and Mom didn't care if I drove myself places. Which, keep in mind, I've been driving that same truck since I was 9 years old. So, what does that entail? But, of course, we also got the truck whenever we lived in Swartz, and the closest store was literally only 2 minutes up the road, called Dave's. So, if I wanted to take the truck anywhere at that point in time while I was about 9, 10 years old, all I had to do was just let Mom know where I was going, grab my cell phone, grab the keys. That way if something was to happen, Mom could come to my rescue. And so there's that. And that's why that truck got featured in a lot of videos I had, is because that truck defined a portion of my childhood, a very good portion of my teenage years. That truck defined my freedom. And so that's actually why, and I'm actually happy to share this with you guys, I have another one. Currently does not run. It's a red 2000 model with a 5-speed. It's a manual. And it is a beaut. I bought it running, and a week after I got it, it died on me. It actually broke the timing guides and seized the whole motor as one. Well, I got it freed up, but I can't get the engine to start because I guess whenever it seized the timing guides and knocked something loose, and whenever I went to turn it over to try and fire it back up, it just, I guess it popped the connecting rod and it blew a hole through the oil pan. Now, it didn't crack the block or anything like that, but it blew a hole through the oil pan itself. Now, yes, the engine is fixable, but I do not have the funds or the tools or the time to take the engine apart, repair it, and put it all back together. I do, however, have everything in my head of what I need to do, and I have a book to go along with that tells me all the torque specs and everything of that 4.2 liter V6 engine. Same engine that was in my silver truck. Now, while back, I did have videos of me working on that silver truck that I tried to upload to YouTube, but YouTube actually would shut them down practically immediately, stating it was child endangerment, considering I was only 14, 15 years old. working on my own truck. Which is weird. But either way, I guess in a way I can understand, because I was literally posting videos of me tearing an engine apart at just 14 years of age. So it really didn't bother me all that bad. But fast forward to today, if I was to make videos of me working on this truck, they would go up. But what's the point in making the videos if I'm having to send it in to somebody who does have the stuff to do it, and it would just be cheaper for me to get them to do it than it would for me to just go and buy the tools that I need. Because even if I do go and buy the tools that I need, keep in mind, I do still live with somebody else, therefore I don't have the space because I'm staying in someone else's house. And so all the storage space and all that is taken up by their stuff. Not gonna lie, it doesn't bother me any, because it's their house. They have the right to store their own stuff in their storage. I'm just a guest here, is the way I see it. So I do what any sensible person who can't really afford much does. So I'm actually taking out a loan, getting the truck fixed. The vehicle that I'm currently driving around is going to be sold, and that money I'm going to use to get my truck legal and all that good stuff, because with me going through the divorce and everything, I feel like I'm traveling in a direction I need to go for myself, getting my truck fixed, because like I said, the silver one symbolized my freedom from the time I was 9 until the time I was 17 years old. So divorced and moving on with my life, that red one I have, it symbolizes the exact same thing. It symbolizes my own freedom, pure all-American rebellion, and just a redneck wanting to have connection to his former self before he ever got married, before all that. That's what I'm going for, is because I was changed, and it wasn't for the good. I will admit that. I was turned into somebody I would not even want to be meet, just because I fell in love with a girl. And that's not a good thing. See, most guys, you're supposed to change when you're in love. You are. You're supposed to change your habits and all this and that and the other. And I did. The only thing is, I ended up developing habits that were worse for me during the relationship, and even after the relationship, I kept some of those same habits. One of them still now, but one of them I was actually able to beat. And thankfully that one I was able to beat is I am no longer an alcoholic. I'm still within the recovery stages, I will say that, but I haven't touched a single drop of alcohol in probably about maybe 4 or 5 months, which is good for me. And that's why I say that having that connection to who I once was before is what's bringing out the best in me, because I was a way better person then than I was during a relationship with my now ex. Yes, you guys already know her name from previous videos and all that, but it's still it still does hurt to even mention the name. Even though I no longer have those feelings towards her. In fact, I actually have darker internal feelings towards her. But I'm not going to get into that. But whenever you have kids when you're too young, and you try to start a family that you're not ready for, it takes a toll on you, and it turns you into somebody that you don't want to be. And the worst parts of it is whenever, instead of trying to talk to you about the changes you underwent and all that, she didn't talk to me. And instead, she went and sought out help from friends of mine, and and that just made the situation even worse, because in my mind, she went and sought attention from them and pitted them against me, and so that made me feel like she decided to be unfaithful towards our bond. I mean, the sacred bond that a marriage is supposed to be, right? So there's all that. I'm not going to go into further detail, just a few details there. That's why I'm not naming names or any of that, is because of the fact that even though what's been done is done, there was a whole lot of pain and hatred that I endured within my own sanctuary of my own mind and body towards for that. But it's all in the past, and it's all over with. Now it's just moving on, being free, being who I am. And in all honesty, my eyes are open again to who I truly am. And I'm back to being the person that I loved being. And that is why I'm making a clear statement right here for everybody. I'm not looking for love. I'm not looking for a woman. I'm done with all that. It's not worth it in today's day and age with our generation. It isn't. Because a lot of women these days, now I'm not saying all, just a lot, most of the ones I've encountered except for one, all they want is money and children. Why? Because money, survival. Children ensures you don't leave them. But here's the twist though. They can leave you, take your child, take half of your things, take all of your money, and leave you with nothing. Do you really want that? No. Granted, she is being cordial about it. She doesn't want to take away anything that I have for myself, which I am thankful for that. But it's still the divine principle that if somebody is perfectly fine leaving you like that and leaving you in emotional distress after they know how you felt about them. Hang on. Yeah, if the person is okay with doing that to you and they know what they're doing to you and they don't seem to care, did they ever truly love you to begin with? Or were they just using you? Because in all honesty, I do feel like I was completely using that relationship for money, safe space, away from her abusive family, and to give her a kid, just to ensure that I wouldn't. Did it ensure that she wouldn't? Nope. Even after all the promises and all the things that were said. And then the fact that she claimed it was all my fault whenever all I was doing is I was going through changes that she pretty much put into my head that I needed to do. She manipulated me. And see, that's another thing. And I do know guys who have a touch of autism. I have a touch of autism myself, and we will all agree on one thing. Guys who have a touch of autism are way too easy to manipulate. They really are. We really are. And the reason why is because our minds are trainable just like a dog. You want us to sit, lay down, roll over, we can. And we will. And that's the reason why I don't trust her anymore. After just one person doing that to me, I don't want that happening to me again. I don't. I can't afford it. Not emotionally, not mentally, not physically. I can't. Never again. Financially either. She drained me completely. I'm done. And that is why I say to y'all, whatever y'all choose to do in life, choose wisely. Make sure you can fully trust that person, no matter who it is. Because who knows? You could be a guy getting into a relationship with another guy. Either way it goes, make sure you can trust that person wholeheartedly. I'll put it this way. I do have a person I can trust like that. I do. And right now, we are both in the healing stages from previous relationships. She's healing from deadbeat assholes, and I'm healing from one. And that's the way that's the way our world goes these days, unfortunately. And I trust her that way. The reason why is because, in a sense, she saved my life. And it's because right whenever I was ready to end it all, she was right there with me. And vice versa. Anywho, this has been multiple different stories in one video, and I'm gonna actually sign it off right here. So I hope you enjoyed watching me drive around like an aimless idiot, and I hope you enjoy some of these stories. Peace.